When an email is sent out of Cademy, the default name that is showing as the sender and the address is going to be your account name. In this case, it's Test Educator. And then in brackets, it will say via Cademy. And this is done for deliverability reasons. Otherwise, some email clients might flag that email. And it's because we are sending it using a @Cademy domain. And we need to mention Cademy in the name of the sender as well. So by default, it will look something like this: your business name, then via Cademy in brackets attached to it. And then the address we use is normally notifications @ and then our domain. So this is the default way we send emails. So whether it's a confirmation email or a reminder, that's how it's going to look like in the customer's inbox. But you can customize that to use your own name and email there instead. And that's great both for your brand because it's going to remove Cademy from the sender name, and it's better for deliverability because it will use your email address and your sender reputation rather than ours. So it's going to be a way to ensure that it gets through to people's inboxes. Now, how do you configure custom email sender domains in Cademy? Well, you go into the admin dashboard under settings in the email domains section, and this is where you can add in email domains. I've already added one here and it's showing as verified. I'm going to just ignore that and add a brand new one here. So when you add in a new domain, let's say testing.com, add domain, it will add it to the list and it will show as pending. Click on that domain and it will give you a set of DNS records. Now these are special records that are added to your domain to allow us to send emails using your domain. So you can either go through the steps and set it up yourself, or there's a copy all records button here, and if you copy that, it'll copy everything you need to just email it to someone either who manages your website or domain, or someone in IT who would be able to set this up. Okay, now if we wanted to do it all ourselves, and normally most folks do that, especially if you have access to either GoDaddy or some other platform where you have purchased your domain, you simply need to go in and log in your domain registrar, and then you just go and give it a quick Google and search for add DNS records on GoDaddy or so on. If you look at this help article here, we actually give you a tip here to just search on Google how to add DNS records to Namecheap or to Google Domains or to Bluehost. And it will get you to the right article that will walk you through how you add these DNS records to each of the domains. In my case, I use a platform, Hostinger here, to host my amazingwebsite.com here. And I found through a Google search where I need to add in the DNS records. And it takes me to a page like that. Most platforms will be very kind of similar to this, and you'll have the ability to add records into your domain. So now that we have this open, we would have to go through and one by one add in each of these records. So in this case, the type of the record is going to be what I'll choose in this drop down here. The type is CNAME, and then I can click on the value here to copy it, and I'll just paste that in, and then I'll copy this one and paste that in the second input here and add record, and it's going to add it to the list of records for my website here. Now, as you go through one by one, keep in mind that sometimes when you copy things across, some of these platforms will not be formatted quite the same way as we have it here. So let's take an example, the MX record. So let's go and add an MX record here, MX. The name I'm going to copy. And then I'm going to copy the value. I'll try and add that in here, add, and there's an error. So it doesn't work. The value that I've put in here doesn't work. Now, in this case, you could relatively easily see that there's a 10 at the start and then a space and then the rest of the value. And that 10 relates to the priority. So in the way this particular platform Hostinger does it is that they have the priority separate from the rest of the value. And if I separate them like this, it will work just fine and it's added it to my list. But in some other platforms, when you copy paste things, note that it might have a slight difference if it errors Something to look out for is that a lot of times the platform will automatically add the name of the domain at the end. So if you'll not be careful, you'll copy, for example, in this testing.com is the domain that I want, and if I copy it and paste it in here, it'll add .testing.com at the end. So when you add it to the record list, it'll have .testing.com at the end twice. So watch out for these little things, and if you have any questions, it's always a good idea to message our support team. Now, once you've added all the records, depending on what platform you use, sometimes it may take 30 minutes, sometimes 5, sometimes a couple of days for all these records to propagate, and that means to save across all the servers that the domain registrar has. So what you need to do is to come every once in a while, every few hours or every couple of days, and click on the refresh button, and we will check your records and we will mark this domain as verified. So this is an example that I've already done earlier, and it's had time to go through and propagate everywhere, and when I came and opened this record, it just marked it as verified. And what that means is that now I can use this domain to send emails out of Cademy with addresses that end in this domain. So next step is going to be to set up a default sender, and you just enter maybe your contact or info at address that you use for your main website, for your main domain, and this is going to be the default email used for any future emails in the future on your account. Okay, you can customize what address you use on email templates, but by default, if we send a reminder, if there's no custom address sent, we'll use the address that you set up here. So now that we've set the domains up, when I come back to look at an email that is sent out of Cademy, you can see that the customer now gets an email with the name of the account in place without the Cademy in brackets. That's been removed, and the sender email address here is contact@youramazingwebsite.com, which is the default sender that we've set up in here. So now there's no mention of Cademy anymore in the email domain, and it's all about your business. Okay, hopefully you'll find this guide helpful. If you have any questions, please get in touch as always through the chat or email. We're always happy to help. Thank you and take care.